Why do we find eccentric soldiers so charming? The lone piper on the Normandy beaches, the officer charging with a sword and a longbow. These stories make for great movies and recruiting posters, but what happens when these soldiers go home? The habits that kept them sane in the chaos of war don't just disappear. That ritual of brewing tea under fire, it can turn into boiling kettle after kettle at 3 in the morning, a desperate attempt to manage a fear that never left. The dark humor that let a man joke about a scratch while his friends were dying? It can make it impossible to later admit he's drowning in guilt and grief. For decades, we focused on the legends. We loved the mad heroes because they turned trauma into something epic. What we didn't talk about was the price they paid. Piper Bill Millen, the hero of D-Day, later admitted that the sound of bagpipes could make his stomach knot up for the rest of his life. These weren't just quirky characters. They were men carrying immense burdens. This focus on deadpan bravery shaped how generations understood war. It wasn't seen as a brutal explosion of violence, but as a test of your ability to stay ridiculously, almost theatrically, calm. American soldiers fighting alongside the British in North Africa would laugh at them stopping for tea in a dust storm. But then they realized that in those 10 minutes, vital intelligence was shared and frayed nerves were soothed. The eccentricity wasn't just oddness. It was a language for fear. A joke could mean, I am terrified just as easily as I am fine. Today the battlefield has changed. It's all body armor, drones, and lawyers. There's less room for flamboyant individuals. But if you talk to veterans from Iraq or Afghanistan, you'll hear the same echoes. They complain about ration packs with the same dry sarcasm their grandfathers used for bully beef. They invent rituals, tell absurd stories to downplay the danger, and use humor as a shield. The props are different, but the impulse is the same. This culture of eccentric resilience is a double-edged sword. It's a reflex baked into the national identity. When the world goes mad, act a little madder and call it keeping calm. It produced incredible moments of courage, but also staggering silences. For every famous story of a piper on the battlefield, there were thousands of ordinary soldiers who died, their only eccentricity being the accent in which they cried out for help. If we only laugh at the quirks and ignore the cost, we're buying into a comforting lie. The truth is, they didn't come out of the horror with a wry grin and a carry-on. They came out changed. For some, that model of stiff upper lip stoicism is a lifeline, something to hold on to when everything is falling apart. For others, it's a cage that stops them from ever saying the 3 words that might save them. That broke me. So next time you see that old footage of British soldiers brewing tea in the ruins of a city, see it for what it is. It's not just a funny national quirk. It's handmade armor, stitched together from jokes, rituals, and small acts of defiance. It was worn over very ordinary, very human fear. In the worst moments imaginable, being stubbornly, absurdly British was sometimes the only thing they had left. Thanks for watching. If you found this perspective valuable, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the human side of history.